If you went through a lot during your childhood, if your home felt less like a sanctuary and more like a courtroom where you were constantly on trial, psychology says you didn't just survive, you underwent a complete neurological transformation. You probably walk through life feeling like an imposter in your own body, carrying an invisible weight that nobody else can see. You might be the person everyone describes as so reliable or so independent, but deep down, you know the truth. You aren't just independent by choice, you are independent by necessity. You are running a high-functioning survival software that was installed to keep you safe in a house where love was conditional, but now that same software is making it impossible for you to breathe. Before we dive into these rare traits, let me know in the comments, where are you watching from? The first trait you likely possess is a debilitating, catastrophic fear of mistakes. For most people, spilling a drink, forgetting something small, or getting a B on a test is just an oops. It's annoying, but it's not life-threatening. But for you, making a mistake triggers a full-body panic attack. This happens because, in your childhood, a mistake wasn't just an error, it was a detonation. Maybe you had a parent who demanded perfection to earn affection. Or maybe you were the child who was never the favorite, so you felt you had to be flawless just to be noticed. You learned early on that you were only as valuable as your last success. So now, as an adult, you over-apologize. You reread text messages 10 times before sending them. You feel like you are constantly one slip-up away from losing everyone you love, because back then you were. This leads to the second, deeply painful trait, the invisible child syndrome, born from emotional neglect. You probably have a fiercely hard time asking for help. In fact, the very idea of needing someone makes you feel physically ill. This stems from those quiet, heartbreaking moments where you were ignored. Maybe you were crying in your room, and you waited for the door to open, for someone to come and check on you, and nobody came. You learned a brutal lesson in those moments. Your needs are a burden. You taught yourself to self-soothe. You became your own parent. Now, people admire your strength, but they don't see the isolation behind it. You don't let people in, not because you don't want connection, but because you are terrified of reaching out and finding that empty doorway again. The third trait is a specific type of trust erosion, often caused by siblings or family dynamics where you were the target. We often talk about parents, but we rarely talk about the damage done when your tormentors were the people sleeping in the next room. If you were bullied by siblings, mocked, hit, or humiliated while your parents stood by and did nothing, or worse, laughed along with them, it shattered your sense of justice. You weren't just hurt by the aggression, you were betrayed by the silence of your protectors. You learned that you couldn't trust authority figures to save you. This makes you incredibly sharp. Today you can spot a fake person or a manipulator from a mile away. But it also means you keep your guard up 24/7. You assume that if you let your guard down, the people who are supposed to love you will eventually turn on you. This constant guarding leads to the fourth trait, chronic body armoring. You might notice that even when you are lying in bed trying to sleep, your muscles are not relaxing. Your jaw is clenched. Your shoulders are touching your ears. Your stomach is tight. You have to consciously tell your body to let go, but minutes later, the tension is back. This is your body holding on to the memory of the trauma. You are physically bracing for an impact, a yell, a criticism, a slam of a door that isn't coming anymore. You are a soldier standing guard in an empty field years after the war has ended. Finally, and this is the one that usually hits the hardest, you struggle with the inability to feel loved. Because you were not the favorite, or because you were treated as the black sheep, you developed a core belief that you are fundamentally unlovable. When someone tries to love you now, when they give you a compliment or try to do something nice for you, you reject it. You think they are lying or that they want something. You feel safer when people are cold to you because that feels normal. Kindness feels suspicious. You push love away, not because you don't want it, but because you don't recognize it. It feels like a foreign language you never learned to speak. But here is the most important part of this video, and I need you to really hear this. You are not broken. You are not damaged goods. Every single one of these traits, the perfectionism, the independence, the armor, these are not flaws. They are sophisticated adaptations. They are the shields that kept a small child safe in a dangerous world. They served a purpose. The problem is simply that the war is over. You survived. You are an adult now, and the people who hurt you can no longer control you. The healing doesn't come from fighting these traits. It comes from thanking them. You can look at your fear of mistakes and say, Thank you for trying to keep me safe from criticism, but I am allowed to be human now. You can look at that inner child who felt ignored and say, I see you. I am here now, and I am not going anywhere. It takes time to convince a nervous system that has known only chaos that it is finally safe to rest. But you deserve that rest. You have done enough surviving. It is time to start living. If you made it to the end of this video, it means you are ready to put the armor down. If this resonated with you, and you want to understand the deeper psychology of healing these wounds, please subscribe to the channel. We are going to walk this path together, and you don't have to do it alone anymore.